Hey, this is the national treasure, Nick Aldis, and you're listening to the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome back to another edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. We are your hosts. He's the Stallion. I'm the Enforcer. And this week, we're talking everything Hell in a Cell. And it's going to be short because this is a special, we're kind of workshopping the name. Let's go Wrestling Wages episode of the ANLWP. Hell in a Cell is Sunday night, and Joe is a degenerate gambler. So what we are going to do, we're going to give you our predictions for the show. It's only like 3 matches, 4 matches, 5 matches. I'm not even sure. And what the odds are, and our lock of the week. So if you're looking to make some money, the good news is, and I'll be very honest with you, I've gambled in my day in mixed martial arts and in football and things like that. And I'm used to going with my heart. And when I gamble with my heart, I lose a ton of money. Luckily, I have zero emotional investment whatsoever in the WWE. So now what you're getting from me, strictly from the brain. So if you're looking to make some money, hit us up at All Night Long WP on Twitter and thank us after the show, Joe.
Straight from the noggin. That's the most important thing. And so when we go through these, there's only 5 matches for Hell in a Cell on the card announced as per WWE's booking methods. And 4 of them have betting odds. The website that I'm looking at for the betting odds is called betonline.ag. So if anyone has an account on there or would like to check that out, that's where I'm getting the lines from. And we will tag them in some sort of tweet probably this evening or tomorrow morning when this podcast goes up. So
yeah, it sounds good to me. So, all right, I will. I have it up right now, so I will kick us off. I don't know. Listen, I'm gonna disclaimer here. Haven't been watching SmackDown. Sure as hell haven't been watching Raw. I've been reading some reviews, reading some recaps, so I know what's going on. All I know is I need more Law and Otis. So if that's on Hell in a Cell, I'm going to be watching. But without further ado, so as you said, Joe, we have 5 matches announced. 4 matches are on beta.betonline.ag. So, and that's not retro AG, unfortunately. Without further ado, I guess we could take it from the top here. First match of the night, Jeff Hardy versus Elias. Is that's not in a Hell in a Cell, is it, Joe?
I don't believe so. I don't believe that is in the cell. Though I know that there are 3 Hell in a Cell matches on this show out of the 5 that are announced, and this is not one of them. This is a singles match as per Wikipedia.
Okay. So Elias just came back, like, what was it, 2 weeks ago? And he left a good guy, came back a bad guy. He's a flip-flopper, as we call them. I don't know how much gas is left in the tank with Jeff Hardy. He was just used to put over Sheamus, I think, or he had a feud with Sheamus. Elias is a guy that you could probably build off for the future. So I think Elias gets the win here, Joe.
I'm going to go with Elias as well. Everything that I've heard indicates that he's in line for a push. He also either just had or is about to have an album released of his own music. So I think that this is the time to stick with Elias. If you're putting in a bet, Elias minus 150 on the site, Jeff Hardy plus 110. So I'm heavy on Elias here. I think you can make some cash if you go money line.
Now, really quickly, if people don't know what those numbers mean, maybe we should break it down for them. Plus 110 for Jeff Hardy, that means he's the underdog. That means if you wager $100, you win your $100 back, and $100. Wait,
bet 100 to win 110, I believe.
Thanks. Yeah,
and you win that. If you're Elias, you bet 150 to win 100.
Yeah. Make 100, correct? So you're taking the favorite right out of the gate. You're going heavy Elias. Gotcha. Next up, we're going to be looking at, I guess we can go Bayley versus Sasha Banks. Bayley, the current women's champion. Sasha Banks, the perennial heel, coming in the babyface role. You have Mom Haircut Bayley here, who's been over, and she's been cutting god-awful promos, and Joe probably hasn't watched her on television in how long, Joe?
I can't sit through an entire Bayley segment. It's been a while. Probably, I think when they were doing stuff with Asuka and Kairi Sane, and they were on Raw and SmackDown every week, I was maybe the last time, so a couple months back. But I can't. listen, Bailey's had the title for close to a year. I don't know the exact number of days, but it's been a long time. She's gotten herself over with this gimmick. Her and Sasha were a team for a long time. Now Bailey turned on Sasha, turning Sasha babyface, right? So they did a segment on SmackDown last night where Sasha basically forced her to sign the contract for this match on Sunday. It's in Hell in a Cell. To me, everything points to Sasha Banks winning here and finally ending Bailey's reign. Could I see them hanging on to the Bailey stuff a little bit longer?
Stretching it out even further.
But next month is Survivor Series, and they usually throw everything out of whack with Survivor Series and the teams and the brand versus brand and all that hot garbage. So I'm just going to say that Sasha wins this because I think if they stretch it out, people are just going to get sick of it. So I'm going to say Sasha gets the win. I'll get your pick, and then I'll give the odds after that.
Oh, I was going to say Sasha, the current betting favorite at minus 225, so $225 to make 100 on that one. Bailey, the champion, coming in as the underdog at plus 160. I'm going to go with Sasha on this one too. I'm tired of Bailey. Her matches are fine, but I don't know. I'm really, unfortunately, I'm just very. She's got the go away heat to me, and Sasha, I don't buy her as a babyface though either, which is kind of weird. So these two feels like their roles are reversed, and I'm not invested in it. So, but I'm gonna go with Sasha on this one here. So now let's take it over to the match that doesn't have the odds up. Maybe you can create some odds for that match. Speaking of Law and Otis, the Money in the Bank champion, taking on The Miz. It's a singles match for the Money in the Bank contract. What?
Yeah, I get there's been a storyline on SmackDown where Miz and Morrison are trying to find a way to get the case away from Otis. Now, Miz and Morrison were drafted to Raw. Otis still is on SmackDown. So somehow these things are still going on. Listen, I think at the end of the day, people are a little skeptical of Otis having the briefcase because he's kind of a comedy character. But to me, I think Miz having the briefcase would be even more uninteresting. So I'm going to say that Otis wins this match and holds on to the briefcase on SmackDown.
Yeah, I see this going one of two ways. I personally think Otis should remain. It's more interesting to me. And Miz doesn't need it. Him and Morrison are fine together. The only thing I could think of is that Tucky comes in and causes an Otis loss here, leading to an Otis and Tucker feud, which I'm also not interested in because, frankly, I love Heavy Machinery. And I love Otis calling Tucky. It gets me every time. I'm a big Otis guy. I'm going to go with Otis keeping the Money in the Bank contract here. What kind of odds would you put on this match, Joe?
I don't know. I think that Otis would be a slight favorite in my opinion. But that's my thought. I mean, Miz really shouldn't be winning matches at all at this point. So that's
I agree with you 100%. Okay, so now the last two matches that do have the odds up. You want to go SmackDown? You want to go Raw? Where do you want to go?
Let's go SmackDown first because I think the odds are on this one. There's a heavy lean for Roman Reigns, right? So Roman Reigns is minus 2,800 to win this, and J Uso plus 900. This is in Hell in a Cell, and the stipulation that they added last night, I didn't quite fully understand it all, but I think it was something along the lines of if it's an I Quit match, I should add that if Roman quits, then Jay's the champion. If Jay quits, then he has to, I guess,
leave the family.
Yeah, I think Roman said that he has to admit that he's the tribal chief and listen to everything that Roman says to do. Otherwise, him and his brother are out of the family. That's what I took away from last night's ending SmackDown segment. So I personally don't see any way that Roman is going to lose this match. I know he's a heavy favorite, so minus 2,800, probably not worth putting any shekels on, so to speak. But I don't see Jey Uso becoming the Universal Champion on SmackDown right now. I think there's a longer story to tell with this, and him losing is the way to go. Roman saying I quit would be a terrible idea at this stage of his heel turn. So I'm going to go with Roman here to get the dominant victory.
I want people to understand what this means. The bettors, the bookies, if you will, the people that create the betting lines, are so confident that Roman Reigns is going to win that you have to wager $2,800 to win $100. I don't see any way Roman Reigns loses this title. J Uso has done a fantastic job. I mean, they could do some kind of swerve where maybe the other Uso, who looks just like Jay, says I quit, and in very Sting, Sid Justice, Halloween Havoc 90 kind of, Schmagecki kind of finish. But I'm with you on it. I think Roman Reigns keeps the title here. And despite Jey Uso, I mean, listen, you got $50. You want to throw it on Jey Uso to make $450? Do it, man. If you have the extra money laying around, go for it. WWE does weird stuff, but for the betting odds in this one, I'm taking Roman Reigns, Joe.
All right, I'm with you on that. And then we got the Raw WWE title main event, also inside Hell in a Cell. It's Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. This is the third straight pay-per-view title match for these two, and McIntyre has won the first two.
Huh. So why would they make a third match? Well, anyway, so looking at the odds real quick, Drew McIntyre is minus $200. That means he is the favorite. $200 to make $100. Randy Orton coming in the underdog at plus 150. Randy Orton, you can't. Well, I'm going to give it to you. Enforcer's lock of the week is Randy Orton in this match. You're not going to have Randy Orton lose 3 pay-per-views in a row. There can be no screw job finish here. It's a Hell in a Cell. There's a winner and there's a loser. Well, I'd like to say that, but we know what happened with The Fiend. But for all intents and purposes, it's a Hell in a Cell. The guy that wins is the champion. That's it. Randy Orton's not going to lose this many pay-per-views in a row and get squashed by Keith Lee on a Raw in between. I don't think they're going to do that with Randy Orton. So if you're looking for the Enforcer lock of the week, 100 to make 150 here at plus 150. Randy Orton winning this match is the underdog.
Yeah, I think so. I was thinking about it for a little while too. I've picked Orton. I thought Orton was going to win the last 2 times they wrestled, and he did not. I thought they were going to put the belt on him because he was pretty hot coming into this feud after his deal with Edge. But having seen him lose, I can't. I'm not sure where the direction is with all this. I think Drew's going to win again, and Orton's going to go off and do something else. But if there was one underdog that I felt most confident in on this show, it would be Randy Orton. I think he's got the best chance as a dog to win. And like to your point of making some money, I think there's definitely a chance because I thought he would win the last 2 months, and I could see them doing it. I'm not sure what direction they're going to go with the title, whether they keep it on Drew and have him move to other people, or if they're going to flip it to Randy. And I know he might tease a feud with Bray Wyatt or other people going on. So, but I'm going to officially, my pick is Drew, but I think if I was going to bet an underdog on this show, it would be Randy Orton. I think it's a pretty close matchup.
Okay. So if you're putting in your lock of the week right now, what do you got?
I'm going with Elias. I think Elias is my lock. We'll tweet that out. My lock is Elias. I think he's got the momentum. He's just come back. Like you said earlier, Jeff Hardy is just, not a lot left in the tank. He should be there to get other people over. And I think that I'm going with Elias as my lock. Okay.
So that's it for the first wrestling wager. Let's do wrestle wager. Does that sound better to you?
That sounds good.
The All Night Long WP # wrestle wager episode this week. I'm looking to make some money tomorrow. Everything I'm going to lose in fantasy football, I'm going to win back Sunday night at Hell in a Cell. And I would like to thank betonline.ag as being the source that I can win that money on. Joe, this is a great idea by you. If you are out there, if you're out there watching the show and you want to throw some money on it, tweet us at All Night Long WP. Let us know who you put the money down on. Let us know what you win. Let us know what you lose. If you happen to use all 4 of my picks as a parlay and you make some money on that too, I want to cut 20%, maybe 25%, depending on state tax. But that's it for another edition of the All Night Long Wrestling Podcast. We are your hosts. He's the Stallion. I'm the Enforcer, and we are tapping out.
Now, with the best friends.